beer, it's good for you.
Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'll be showing you how to put together a great beer cooler based serving box that is great for beers on the move and that is not only compact but budget friendly too. This method requires absolutely no modifications or drilling into the cooler box, so if you want to use the cooler box for something else another time then it's fast and easy to repurpose it. I will start by running through the different parts needed for this, which are also listed in this video's description area, as well as at the end of this video with a nice special bonus. I will then show you how to put it all together, which as you will see is super fast and easy. So let's get started. Let's start off by looking at what you will need. First of all, you're going to need a cooler box. The one that I have here I picked up locally cheap. This one is made by Cova and is 20 litres in size. This makes it ideal for a couple of 4 to 5 litre mini kegs, but naturally you might want to go for something larger, more on this shortly. In terms of the kegs, I'm using Oxebar 4 litre kegs with tapping heads. These are very budget friendly and also nice and light compared to stainless steel mini kegs. The cooler box that I'm using here is the ideal size for 2 Oxebar 4 litre kegs, as you can now see. The dimensions for my cooler and for each 4 litre Oxebar keg is now shown on screen in both metric and imperial measurements. This could prove useful if you take a screenshot. Naturally, if your cooler is large enough, then you could use a couple of 8 litre Oxebar kegs too, which will double your beer capacity as well as the workout you'll get from carrying your box around. I am not sure if they will cancel each other out though, that will depend on how much of the 16 litres of the beer you drink. I have included the dimensions of the 8 litre Oxebar kegs at the bottom of the screen in both metric and imperial measurements for your planning. Next you will need a Nukatap mini vertical clamp-on assembly. This new part makes all this possible without the need for any drilling and allows you to fasten a beer tap securely to your cooler box. As this clamp-on assembly is made for the Nukatap mini, naturally you're going to need one of those too. These are great little taps that are not only compact but pour beer really well too, and due to their compact size they get to beer temperature really quickly, reducing foaming. I would recommend that you also grab an auto-close spring, as they are simply pennies and yet protect your beer from accidents like a pet or child knocking your tap and emptying your beer all over the floor. A no-brainer really. To connect the tap to the vertical clamp you'll also need a Nukatap mini wall mount shank kit, in this case the 6.35mm version. To connect the tap to the beer keg you will naturally need some beer line. I am using 3mm ID and 6.35mm OD line, which not only suits the size of the wall mount shank kit, but is also preferable due to it having a smaller inner diameter for foam control. For this setup I am using 2 meters of line, which works well. This then collects to a Duotight liquid ball lock, which also is naturally the 6.35mm version too. Then lastly we need something for serving pressure. For a smaller box setup like mine here, a small CO2 product is ideal. Here you could go for a budget product like this one, which takes 16 grams CO2 cartridges. With these you simply hit the trigger to add more CO2 as you need it. There is no regulator, and frankly these and other cheap solutions like this tend to not work very well and tend to not last for very long either, making them quite a false economy in actual fact. If you are having to buy something new as a solution here, then I would recommend spending more money at first on a Mini 360 core Actuator regulator. These are very solid and reliable, and will last much longer, as well as having many benefits over cheaper alternatives, including the fact that you can use SodaStream bottles as well as 16 gram CO2 cartridges. Using SodaStream bottles is for sure much more economical compared to using 16 gram CO2 cartridges. You can also upgrade the gauge into a much more accurate digital version, as I have done, for a nominal amount of money extra. Right, let's now put all this together. Firstly, you want to get the packet of nuts and bolts shown here on the left that will supply with your vertical clamp. Also the items shown here on the right that will supply with the wall-mounted shank kit. The items here shown in the middle from the wall-mounted shank kit are not used for this application. You should start off by screwing the bracket onto the vertical clamp, as you have seen I have already completed here. For this task you will need a crosshead screwdriver. Make sure that when you do this that the 2 arrows are shown on the top of the bracket and are facing downwards as shown here. You can then add this decorative cover, which as you can see has a nice mirror finish. Hello there! The next step is to add the fitting that came with the shank kit onto one end of your beer line. Make sure the line end is having a nice straight edge to it and that you push it in as far as it will go into the Duotight fitting. You can then feed the opposing end of your beer line into the hole at the front of the vertical clamp. Once you reach the Duotight fitting it will nicely fit into place so that you can see the finished example as shown on screen now. You should now add the auto-close spring into your Nukatap Mini. You can now bring your Nukatap Mini onto the bracket and then tighten the ring on the bracket to secure the Nukatap Mini in place via its end threads. Make sure this is nice and tight, of course. To finish off the line so that it can be attached to a keg, we now need to add the ball lock fitting. Once again, ensure the line has a nice and straight edge to it and that you push it in as far as it will go into the Duotight fitting. I know I've mentioned this twice now, but it really is all you need to know on getting the best results from Duotight. We are now ready to add the bracket and tap to our cooler box. The bracket will fit onto the edge of the cooler box as shown, and it's just a case of tightening it up so that the tap isn't going anywhere, which as you can see is fast and easy. All you need to do now is add your CO2 solution and of course some great beer into your kegs. As you have seen, this is really easy to set up the first time, and once everything is put together, even faster to pack up and down, because it's simply a case of adding or removing the bracket, which for me adds a great benefit to this method, along with the fact that as the cooler box needs no modifications, it can actually be repurposed when the need arises, making it also very wife friendly as an often vital feature. With my box set up, I have enough room for a 16 gram CO2 solution as well as one line that packs up nicely to get back on the go again. However, if you manage to find a cooler box that suits you that has more space, then you might want to consider having 2 or more Nukatap Minis set up for the serving of more than one beer at a time. Whichever way you go with this, I hope you enjoy the price point and convenience of such a setup as much as I have. I've included the parts list within this video's description, but I've also laid them out on screen here within the end of this video to assist. The idea being that you can now either take a screenshot of this screen if you are watching on a computer or a mobile phone or a tablet, or take a quick photo using your phone if you're watching this on TV. I've made this section suitably long so that you have time to do this, hopefully without pausing the video, and I hope this helps. While doing this, I will play you a bit more of the song that I have used since day one of my channel for the introduction, the title of which I have now added on screen. This is free of charge to download online.
Drink beer, it's good for you. I'm empty-handed and I'm feeling blue, and I'm gonna drink till the day that I die. Shut bubble down my throat. I'm empty-hearted and I'm all alone, but I'm gonna drink till the day that I die.
I do hope that you found this video useful, informative and interesting. If so, why not consider liking and subscribing? For further support, you can join the channel's Facebook group, and if you would like to support the channel, then check out the channel's merchandise store, as all profits go back into the channel. Until next time, happy brewing!